Go.
Hold on.
Drinking on a Sunday. Should I get more? Who knows?
Hi, everybody. I am Brandon, and this is Manny.
Hi, it's me.
Hi, Manny. And we are 2/3 of the Bearded Boys.
Yes.
And we are doing episode 2 of WandaVision.
WandaVision. Ooh.
WandaVision!
WandaVision. 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 We'll get to that. That's.
Alright, so now let's go into our overall thoughts, Manny. Why don't you start us off?
You got it. My overall thoughts. I have those, and I didn't write them down. No, yes. So, I did write them down. Yes, okay. No, my overall thoughts. Let's see. It was fine. It was fine. That's great. No, I just, I want, again, with the same thing I said with the first episode, is like, I think what's happening here is, like, I want more of the overarching storyline here. I think I've been spoiled by Marvel movies, where it's like, here's the plot, and we're just gonna keep doing the plot, because this is a movie, and it's all one plot. And now we have, like, these mini episodes where we're throwing in, like, hey, this whole episode, it's Bewitched, guys, but it's not. Also, here's like a little tidbit of what's actually going on. On some level, yes, I'm enjoying the ride. It is funny, there's like the jokes and stuff, and it's like, it's interesting that it's a thing. But I think for me, I'm hungering to know what's happening, and I want to know like what the actual storyline is, not this like Bewitched kind of, imitation. Because if I wanted to watch Bewitched, I'd watch Bewitched, right? But
you're not necessarily appreciating like all like the classic sitcom stuff,
right? Yeah, it's great, and they worked super hard on it and stuff, and that's cool. And yes, I'm laughing, and it's interesting that it's like the sitcom thing, but like, I want the actual like
want the actual Marvel stuff, not
right?
The
sitcom stuff. Yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly what it is. I want I want to see more of like the overall plot of this whole like mini series, right? And like, I guess I'm just being impatient because I want to know what's going on, I guess. But not to say that I'm not enjoying the ride. Like, I am laughing, and like there's some cool stuff, but at the same time I'm just like, oh, okay, that's fine. It's Bewitched, I got it. It's the 1960s, that's cool. Anyway, what's happening? But yeah, anyway, those are my overall thoughts. What are yours?
I actually really like kind of appreciating like all like the classic sitcom stuff, just because I remember watching these old shows like on Nick at Night when I was a kid.
Right.
So
yeah.
it is kind of like nostalgic for me.
Marvel's going for the nostalgia. They know they got to remember.
Like, I was at my grandma's house yesterday, and she was actually watching WandaVision just because of like all like the old sitcom stuff. So it's actually a really interesting thing to where like, even though I don't think you necessarily have to be a Marvel fan to appreciate what they're doing here.
Oh, yeah, 100%. No, yeah, I can definitely see that.
My overall thoughts on the episode, again, like, I appreciate that, especially in this episode, like, the slapstick element, especially at the end with, like, the magic show and stuff. I thought that was, like, really funny.
That's all slapstick. That was nothing with... That whole magic show was just... This has absolutely nothing to do with anything that's going on, but it's a joke. Right. Here's 10 minutes of joke.
It works. It's really funny.
Yes, it is. It is funny to see a drunk android robot. So what's he? It's an android, right? Technically, is he just a robot?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, it's funny to see a drunk android trying to perform magic tricks. Yes. Spoiler alert. You probably not.
But again, I also like really enjoy like those like tonal shifts where it's almost like it turns into like a mini segment of like Twilight Zone.
Oh yes, yeah, with like the we'll see that.
I was looking into it, and during those like the aspect ratio will actually change like on the actual cameras and stuff.
Oh, I didn't notice the aspect ratio change, but I did notice just the totally different way that the scenes were shot. Like, it didn't look like something you would see in Bewitched. Like,
right, exactly. Again, my overall, I like this episode a lot. I enjoyed it more than the first episode.
Oh yeah, me too. Actually, yeah, it was. I think better than the first episode.
All right, so let's get into the recap. All right, we open up to Wanda being startled awake by a loud noise outside the house. So Vision goes to look out the window until another loud noise scares him like a little punk.
A little punk bitch. No.
Yeah, Your words, not mine. So he's scared like a little punk bitch and hides underneath his bed covers like the true hero he is.
Oh my god, yeah. When I was watching this, I was just like, this is hilarious to see like this badass superhero over here, like freaking scared of like something outside his window. Like, what is this? This is not the Vision I know.
Alright, so he remarks that some of the people at his work saw some unsavory characters settling into the neighborhood, which may imply that they're the unsavory characters since they're the last ones that moved in.
Right.
We don't know.
Because their neighbors were totally talking shit in front of him. Like, yeah, some shitty, like, weird neighbors moved in. And, I mean, I know you just moved in, but it's not you.
Yeah.
It's somebody
you're
else.
Cool, you're cool.
Yeah, you're cool.
Another loud noise scares them into pushing their separate twins' bed together into one side's king bed. Since this episode takes place in the 60s, it would make sense for that to occur because of weird censorship laws in the 60s.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that.
No, yeah. Like TV censorship laws, like married couples couldn't share a bed on TV until like the 1960s. That's why they had to like have like twin separate beds and stuff.
Oh yeah, they fixed that like real quick in this episode.
Oh yeah.
So that they could get to the next part where they bang.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, oh yeah, like some sexy times are coming on, and how does that work exactly with the robot?
We don't know.
So does having sex with him count as masturbation for her?
She probably hasn't thought about that, but she should. No. I don't know. Let us know what you think in the comments. Oh my god. Oh man.
Leave that in.
All right, we get it.
All right, cut to an animated Bewitched style theme song, which was just like, man, he sing the theme song for us.
WandaVision, WandaVision. Oh, this got stuck in my head so much. I watched this episode multiple times just for this and in general. But anyway, and like sometimes throughout the day, I just start singing that in my head. I was like, why is this? It's so catchy. No.
Open up to Vision practicing some magic tricks for the local town show fundraiser. And apparently that is one of the most important events of the year and a very good place for Wanda and Vision to include themselves in the town, but also simultaneously blend in.
Right, and a very good introduction to what the entire episode will probably be about. Yes.
Right. Vision's magician name is Illusion, Master of Enigma, and Wanda's stage name is Glamour, which is very fitting.
Wait, why is it fitting?
Because her costume at the end.
Oh.
So Wanda says that she has joined the town planning committee while Vision is going to go to the neighborhood watch meeting to make sure security is up to snuff. As Wanda is working around the house, she hears a noise outside and goes to investigate, and she finds a remote control helicopter.
Oh wait, so before this or whatever was when he shows her like, this is your costume, right? Yeah. So when he shows her the costume, like the thing that I was thinking of, I don't know if, but anyway, like I was like, does this seem 1960s to you? Like, would they have worn this out in public? Was this a thing? I don't know.
Probably not in public, but for like a stage show, yeah, because I feel like they would. Because did you ever see that movie, The Prestige?
I did not.
Okay, well, it's about like competing magicians and stuff, and their assistants wore very similar attire, but that movie was set in like the 30s.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we got like the flapper girl thing. No,
right.
Okay, well, even then, okay, yeah. So that makes sense then. Yeah, I was just like, that seems like kind of revealing for that time.
Definitely.
But I guess if it's a performance, you know, that's what's going on.
Yeah, you gotta put on a show, dude.
It's true. That's give the people what they want to see.
Yeah.
Wanda in like a skin tight one piece, like, you know, bodysuit.
Yeah, I mean that's what I want to see.
All right, what happens next?
All right, she finds a remote control helicopter, which is strange because it is a bright red color, while the rest of the show is still in black and white. Yeah. And she also noticed that it has a strange logo, which we know to be the sword logo.
Yep, this was the little tidbit when you get in this episode where I was just like, yes, tell me more.
Immediately after that, Agnes pops up behind her, startling Wanda, and offers Wanda her pet rabbit, Senor Scratchy, for her and Vision's magic show, and the two of them are off to the planning committee.
She's my favorite. she's so far, she's just my favorite person in this entire series.
Agnes?
Yes. she's like we said last time, she's hamming it up, and she's doing this part so perfectly.
All right, so you're talking about the actor portraying Agnes, not necessarily the character.
Both, I guess. No.
All right.
Senor Scratch.
All right.
He's also awesome.
He's got real star material.
He played Baby Jesus in
Which how does that even work?
Couldn't he have just played one of the animals? You know what? Whatever. Let's just move on. Did you notice Agnes checking out the mailman after he walked by?
Oh yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. She's like, "Oh yeah, okay, maybe."
I was watching this. I almost got the impression that like, oh yeah, Agnes is like keeping this dude like hostage or something.
Oh, because he was like, "Don't shoot," like the whole.
Yeah,
oh,
exactly. Yeah. And she's like. Just like counting it up to the point where like you're not sure if she's serious or not.
Right. It's she's holding him hostage by like threatening to, get him in trouble for sexual harassment. That's her plan right there.
60s men never got in trouble for that.
Oh yeah, you're right. Never mind. What am I thinking?
You're being too woke, Manny.
Right, I'm too woke to watch this show. All right. Anyway, let's keep going.
All right. So as Agnes and Wanda are walking toward the meeting, Agnes starts saying that the leader of the planning committee, Dottie, is the queen bee of the town, and that she is key to getting into all the country clubs, the parties, certain schools, and she also remarks on Wanda's outfit, considering Wanda is wearing pants and a blouse, while it was normally still regular, or I don't want to say regular, but women still primarily wore dresses.
Right.
At the committee meeting, or not the committee meeting, the planning meeting, Dottie runs the committee like a damn dictator and berates one of the members for not asking about like where the chairs came from. Because apparently like some other aspect of the planning committee like came from her store, woman's store, and Dottie claims, oh yeah, the devil is in the details, and Agnes whispers to Wanda like, oh yeah, that's not the only place he is.
What could that mean? No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
She's the devil. No, I have a few things on this scene actually. Even before that they met Dottie, like just Agnes talking about it, I was like, oh god, so Dottie's gonna be like one of these like stereotypical like bitch dictator, like neighbor ruler ladies, and that was exactly what she was.
She's the popular girl in high school that just never left and just continued to run everything.
Oh, gross. Oh, so gross. Some things never change. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, I do have to commend her about the chairs thing, because in her defense, like, the bitch should have asked about chairs. Like,
why does it matter where the chairs came from, though? I don't get it.
She should have asked to make sure they were gonna even have the chairs. She's just not doing her job.
They had the chairs already. It's just she didn't ask where they came from.
Those chairs could have been from like Russia, man. That's not okay, as we learn later in this episode. All right, whatever. We could just keep going. We'll just agree to disagree here.
No, Dottie's a bitch.
I thought she was a bitch, and she is a bitch, but I'm Team Dottie.
No. I'm glad she gets hurt later.
That's rude. Right. That's way rude.
I stand by my decisions, and you will never hear an apology from me.
Agnes bringing the alcohol to the committee meeting was like... I was like, yes, this is why I like this character so much in this show. This would be nothing without her.
No, yeah. Agnes, yeah, she calls people out on their shit.
Oh, yeah.
Which I appreciate.
And Dottie just doesn't even say anything about the flask that clearly has alcohol in it. It's like, this is fine. I know I'm a lot, but... You do whatever you can to,
But Agnes is also the only one who's drinking. How could anyone do this sober?
Right, and like, don't we feel that way about like, a lot of things in everyday life? Like, so relatable. Yes.
Yes. All right. So as the meeting continues on, Wanda feels out of place since all of the other women are in dresses and she is the only one in pants, going back to the remark that Agnes made about Wanda's wardrobe.
You just don't wear pants in the 1960s, girlfriend.
Unless you are a badass bitch woman. or woman.
Yeah. Like you.
But,
oh, never mind. So she's fine.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yes, she feels out of plants because she's wearing pants. Wait, what did I just say?
She feels out of pants because she's she's wearing pants.
Yes. Okay.
I get that.
All right. Never mind. All right. She's feeling out of place because she's wearing pants, but the character remarks on them saying they're peachy keen, and we learn that her name is Geraldine.
Cool character. Anybody who can say the word peachy keen with a straight face. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So Dottie continues running the meeting like a damn dictator and scolds Wanda and Geraldine for not paying attention. And this is the part where Wanda is basically just out of time with everyone. She go like you said, for the children remark.
These are the hijinks that
right.
This is what the laugh tracks are for. It's like, oh, she's so quirky. But the whole for the children thing, first of all, so when that happened, I was like, for me, for some reason, it felt like there was something more to that, or there's some hidden meaning behind that, because it sounded culty as fuck. Were you getting mad cult vibes when they kept saying for the children throughout this entire episode?
A little. I think the weirdest part is we haven't seen any children at all.
Oh, that's so true. I didn't even notice that. That's wow. Some crazy shit going on here, guys.
But yeah, so the for the children thing, the for the children remarks happens, and Wanda is late to the party. She doesn't say for the children until afterwards, until after they're all done. She doesn't start clapping until everyone is done clapping. It's very funny. You can tell she's very much a fish out of water.
She marches to the beat of her own drum. You go, Wanda. Do your own thing. Fuck Dottie.
Right. While Vision is at the planning committee, Vision goes to the neighborhood watch meeting, only to find out it's more of a local gossip session for the dudes.
I don't see how that wasn't clearly understood, before he even got there. Obviously, come on now. And you can totally tell that the guys are just not comfortable with him being there.
Well, yeah, because he actually wants to be part of a neighborhood watch. He's very adamant and serious about it. Well, I think, the rest of the guys are just hey, this is the time to get away from the wives, chill with the boys.
Right, we're just here to hang out. Why don't they just go to a bar? Was there not a bar? Oh, because it's probably noon right now.
Yeah, I mean,
oh yeah, drinking at noon. Who does that?
Trying to fit in, Vision starts making a few jokes, saying that one of the members is a communist.
That seemed a little bit risky to me.
That seems like a really bold statement, especially in the 1960s.
Yeah,
the Cold War.
Everybody took that way more lighthearted than I would have expected.
I think it was just so out there that they're wait, no, there's he can't be serious.
And then me trying to analyze is there something more to this character? Is he is Sword a communist? Yeah, wait, no, that's not bad. That's fine. but in the 1960s, is he a spy or something? What's going on with that character?
But yeah, after that, all the gang, the entire neighborhood watch cracks up. They start opening up to him a little, and one of the guys, I believe his name is Herb, offers Vision a stick of gum. Which,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Vision says, "Oh yeah, gum is just for mastication." And he's like,
"I don't know. No, I don't do that." I don't do that. Clearly obvious. He doesn't know what that means. Yes.
Right. So Vision takes the gum, and we see an animated view of him swallowing it and jamming up his gears.
Oh yeah, I was for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I really like how they animated that. That was really clever.
Yeah, this is yep. This is Bewitched style. This is what everybody wants from this show.
I see what you're doing, and I'm a fan of it.
Yeah, there you go. That's better words. Better words to put that in. Yes.
After the committee meeting, we cut back to Wanda, and Dottie selects Wanda to help her clean up, which is just Dottie making Wanda do everything.
Right, her just sitting there this is for you interrupting me and thinking you had a voice.
which I don't care about you.
Right, exactly. She makes that very clear.
This is where the tone shift happens in this episode. And
aside from the helicopter, but yes.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
So Wanda tries to apologize to Dottie if they had gotten off on the wrong foot or if she had offended her for whatever reason, even though this is the first time that we see the two of them meeting each other.
Right. And Dottie's response to her trying to apologize, I was just like, that's a good question. Well, because she's like, I just want to know if there's how I can like remedy, this. I can't help thinking we got off on the wrong foot. And she's like, yeah, how are you going to make this better? And I was like, I don't think anyone's ever said that to me when I tried to apologize to them. Like, I was like, I don't know what she would say here, and neither did she.
She's gotten off on the wrong foot, but Dottie is not having it, saying that she's heard some stuff about her and Vision. Wanda is naturally confused and tries to assure Dottie that she doesn't mean anyone any harm. Dottie says right back that she doesn't believe Wanda.
That made no sense. Like, did you notice that made no sense? Like, her response to Dottie being like, I heard things about you and your husband, and like instantly Wanda's like, we mean no one harm. Like that could have meant anything. Like, that should have been like the last thing. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, she's like, we don't mean anybody harm. Like, when somebody says, I've heard things about you, do you instantly think, like, oh, like I kill people? Or, like, I hurt people? Like, that's not... So, yeah, I don't know.
I think that goes to the underlying strangeness. Like, clearly Wanda knows something that she knows, like, something is going on here.
Right,
Whether
exactly.
She knows it, like, consciously or unconsciously, she knows something is going on.
Right. So that whole, like, her response to that was just 100%, like, part of the whole tone shift thing. Because, like, so you agree with me that in an everyday conversation, if somebody's like, I've heard stuff about you, your mind instantly doesn't go to, oh, yeah, like, the fact that I hurt people, or, like, or you've heard that I, like, I don't know, beat people up or something like that.
It doesn't immediately go to, like, oh, yeah, I'm not going to hurt you.
Yeah, like, that's not everybody's typical response, yeah.
Yeah, I think the natural response would be like, oh, what have you heard?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what did you heard? Like, yeah.
So Dottie says right back that she doesn't believe Wanda, and the radio that was playing in the background starts to stutter, and we hear a man start to say Wanda's name. Wanda, 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 can you read me? Who's doing this to you?
So when I heard this voice, I was like, I don't know if you heard the same thing, or maybe it's just my own brain looking to make connections or whatever, but for some reason when I heard that voice, I thought it sounded like Chris Evans. Like, I thought it sounded like Captain America. So I don't know if he's going to be, like, in this series or something like that. Or it could have been somebody that sounded like Captain America, but honestly, just to me, like, my brain was like, is that Captain America? Like, did that sound like him to you?
So it personally didn't sound like that to me, but also for context, so in the timeline of events in the MCU, WandaVision takes place 3 weeks after Endgame.
So he's like in the past, so it definitely could not be him. That's right. Or he's like
he's old man Captain America.
Yeah, he's doing a whole another thing. Never mind. So yeah, I totally forgot about that when I was watching this. But
yeah, that's actually something we probably should have said in the last episode. But yeah, just for context, this takes place 3 weeks after Endgame. But yeah, I didn't get that vibe.
Oh, okay. Just somebody that sounds like Chris Evans.
Well, also, it's coming through a radio, so it's pretty distorted.
That's true. Yeah. Yep. It's just my brain looking for connections where there are none.
I mean, that's what Marvel has done to us. Just, like, trained us to look for connections.
Fucking... They've ruined my brain forever. No.
Right, exactly. As we hear this voice, both women are visibly confused. Wanda uses her powers to destroy the radio, and the glass that Dottie was holding shatters, and Dottie begins to bleed, and we can see the blood is the color red, so it really stands out again with the show being still black and white. So we know something is up.
Yeah. Did you understand the bloodstain joke? Like, when she said that, I didn't find it funny, and I didn't know, like, what was it supposed to be a joke where she's like, pop quiz. Or I guess she was just trying to be a bitch, but I was like, even then I was like, I don't understand how that's being a bitch. Where she was like, pop quiz, how do you get blood out of a napkin? And she's like, do it yourself. And I was like, ha ha ha.
I mean, I didn't think it was a joke. I thought she was like, oh yeah, like, if you don't know this, you're a bad housewife.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I think that's probably just what I missed. I was just like, okay. Yeah. How do you get blood out of a napkin? I don't know. I wish you would have told me. Like,
A new napkin.
yeah, you just use paper towels to clean it up.
And Dottie goes back to being her normal bitchy self. Like nothing, like that whole radio thing just didn't happen at all.
Right, because we're totally concerned about, the continuity in this episode of things. Which
Right.
I'll comment more on that later, but yes, let's just keep going.
Cut to another commercial for Strucker watches. On the watch itself is the Hydra emblem, which is important since Hydra was the one who experimented on Wanda to give her and her brother powers, and Strucker was the scientist who was running the experiments.
Ah, you piece of shit. I took the note. I was so excited to talk about that. No, I'm just kidding. No, you're right. No, there were very few Easter eggs that I actually caught on to or actually bothered to look up, and that was one of them. We'll just keep going. That's fine. You already said it. Story-wise, these commercials are fucking useless. Like, these commercials serve absolutely no purpose to the story other than for people looking for Easter eggs and maybe, like, digging for possible foreshadowy things. Like, it's nothing.
I would disagree with that because we don't know what is actually happening still. Like, again, going back to, like, these, like, Twilight Zone moments, like,
Right.
We know something is up. And obviously, they wouldn't have these commercials in there unless it was for a reason. We are now in the town square, and we cut to different members of the community doing their acts. We got some dancing, we got some acting, we got another guy playing some piano. He's really good, actually, playing on his grandma's piano. I don't know how the hell he got that piano into the town square, but...
Right? Yeah.
All right, and Wanda is in the back stressing out because she is still waiting for Vision to arrive. And eventually, Vision does show up, but there's something up with him. He's looking like he's a 21-year-old at 2 a.m. after a night on Mill Avenue.
Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. Interesting to note that robot plus clogged gears from bubblegum equals drunk robot. Yes. That totally makes sense. Like, I wouldn't have thought of that before watching the show, but now I know.
Vision looks drunk as fuck, and we go to an animated Vision that the gum is still grinding up or messing up his gears, and that's why he's acting that way.
I like how Wanda didn't instantly, like, she knew something was up, but she didn't instantly think to, like, check. Like,
yeah, exactly.
She's just like, oh, we're late, we're just gonna keep going. Something's clearly wrong with you, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Like,
yeah, but also I think it's like doesn't he like just like immediately rush onto the stage?
No, they sit there and talk for a second. They're like, where have you been? Like, blah blah blah, this and that, and then Geraldine's like, all right, you guys are on now. And she's like, oh shit, we gotta go. Yeah.
So they're on stage. She's acting drunk and low-key insulting the townspeople.
And they're like, okay.
Is this supposed to be funny?
Right. Also, for the children. Colt. Yes, summon the children forth.
Okay, but yeah, that doesn't happen until later, I thought.
Oh. It does somewhere in there. Yeah, I think it does happen when they're introducing them.
Oh. Anyway,
yeah, we'll keep going.
The town is weird.
Flourish.
Yes, because Vision is drunk as hell, he begins to float on stage in front of everybody. So Wanda magics a rope and pulley system on stage to try and cover for him. I thought this was a really clever gag.
It was
in the fact. Well, no, not only that, just like to cover for him, but it goes back to like Wanda, like in all the other movies, like using her weird like finger magic and stuff. And this one, she's just like,
woo.
Right, exactly.
I think this is where I figured out. So this comedy show is where I figured out like what was bugging me so much with these first couple episodes as far as like the storylines goes. Because this whole comedy show, again, with the whole main story arc, to me again, it wasn't related to that. This was comedy, tension, comedy, tension, comedy, tension. Like this was purely to get that whole, TV show from the 1960s, early 1970s or whatever vibe, right? And so this is where I started realizing where I was like, oh, I think I know what's bugging me. Like, with these whole first, like, a couple episodes. But anyway, yeah, we can keep going. I'm enjoying the ride. I know I keep criticizing on this, but I am enjoying the ride on some levels. With
right.
The comedy and, what's happening, so.
Again, it's a nice throwback to how sitcoms were made in that era.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, sure, yeah.
All right, and so next, Vision lifts up a piano with the piano that one town member was playing, and to cover for that, Wanda makes it into a cardboard cutout. And I love this line. The townsperson, I forget his name, was like, "That was my grandma's piano."
Yes. That was funny, but my favorite part in this whole episode, and probably the whole series so far, is coming up. So I'm going to let you keep going, because...
Okay, so for his next trick, Vision phases his hat through the middle of his body, and Wanda magics some mirrors from behind him backstage, and like conveniently reveals them.
This is where I was like, yeah, I'm okay with these jokes, just because that one chick was like, is that how mirrors work? I watched this episode multiple times, and each time, no matter what, this is the only part where I laughed super hard. Like, each time I was like, this joke didn't get old for me. It's like, because I was like, this is so dumb. Is this how mirrors work? Like, no. Everybody else is like, haha, oh, it totally makes sense. No.
Alright. For his finale, Vision is going to make Wanda disappear, so they bring out the big box they were practicing with in their house. Again, how did they get that there? But regardless.
Magic. Finger magic.
Yes, finger magic. Yeah, edit that out, definitely.
That's not... That wasn't a... Brandon, that wasn't a sexual thing.
So, Wanda brings out the box, but before she can get inside it, Vision immediately closes the box and immediately goes into the trick before, again, Wanda can get in there. To fix this, she magics Geraldine inside the box. And Geraldine, again, is rightfully so very confused.
Right. Cut the continuity in these shows, and like those shows from like the 1960s, like Bewitched and stuff, where it's just like at the very end, it's like nothing's wrong. Like, there's no question. There's no question about him getting his like grandma's piano back. Like, where did the piano go? or Gerald. They're just like, after this, and I'll just keep doing the summary for that. After this,
well, Geraldine does question like, how did I get in there?
She does, but then after she's just like, oh, I'm not telling you. Like, that's the end of it. She's just like, okay, yeah, she's not gonna tell me how she did it. That's fine. Totally makes sense. There's nothing magical going on here.
Alright, so they get a standing ovation and head back off stage. And when they get there, Wanda asks, like, what's wrong? Like, what the hell is up with you, Vision? And she does a little finger magic scan and sees that his gears are all gummed up. So she magics the gum out, back up through Vision's mouth, and he's good as new.
Problem solved. There you go. Should have done that before the show, but, you know.
Yep.
You needed, laughs and...
Maybe she wanted to know how good of a drunk Vision was.
Right, yeah, actually, that's fair, though. That'd be a good question. Like, I've never seen my husband android guy drunk before. I just kind of want to let this ride out and see what happens.
I mean, she's Eastern European. I'm sure she has a pretty good tolerance.
Oh, probably. Lots of maybe vodka or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So the two of them try to flee the show after they fix Vision, but Dottie stops them as they're trying to make their escape. And
you about to get
naturally they're afraid, but instead of being afraid, they should be happy because Dottie awards them with the first award for inaugural comedy show.
Yeah! Yay, drunk Vision's funny.
Yep.
Sober Wanda's lame. Just let Vision run the show. You would have been great.
Just give me drunk Vision for 9 episodes. I'm sure that would be hilarious.
Yeah, actually, no, yeah. All my complaints just disappear. That's...
Alright, so the two go back to their house and they are sitting down and are happy about what they did at the fundraiser that was for the children.
The non-existent children, yes.
Yes. Yeah, I believe one of them makes a remark saying, like, yeah, this was for the children, but have we actually seen any children here?
Question mark? And then Wanda gets up, and then you're like, what the fuck? She's pregnant! Oh.
Exactly.
We're like, we're moving the storyline right along.
Yeah.
There was so much foreshadowing to this and I didn't see it just because, like, why would I think she would just automatically be pregnant and have a baby in this series that's only, like, 7 episodes? Like, what?
Yeah, and she doesn't even question it. It's like, all right, yeah, I'm pregnant.
So I am.
I mean, hey, they did have some sexy times at the beginning of the episode. Just saying.
They did. She's like, this totally makes sense. That I'm
Right.
already showing too.
So there is a loud noise outside suddenly, and the two of them go to investigate when they see the manhole covering in the street is being pushed open from the sewers, and a man climbs out. His face is covered by a swarm of bees, and he has the sword logo on the back of his jumpsuit. And suddenly Wanda says, no.
And
No.
she rewinds.
Yes, she, like, just like an old school VHS, she rewinds back to the two of them inside the house.
Right, and it's obvious that it's her. So when she steps outside, that's where I was like, and I noticed like where the like camera.
Again, there was another tone shift here.
Right, yeah, and the camera angles are like way not off, but they're not like
They're
in the same style. They're not in the same style. They're like
out of place.
yeah, it's out of place. It doesn't match anything, and you're like, oh, this is definitely like eerie. The music's there, and you're just like, okay, something like weird and not expected is about to happen, and you know, and it does, like a beehive dude coming out of the sewers.
Yeah, we're
like,
back in the Twilight Zone.
yeah, something Twilight Zone. Exactly, yeah, that's exactly it. Like something's weird happening, and then the second that she's like, no, this is the first time, like in the series where I was like, at like 100% sure, like, okay, this is Wanda, like. All of
Right.
like everything that's happening is Wanda, like because there was questions about it before, right? Like this was the
Right.
point where like you know for a fact like Wanda's controlling this
At least-
situation on
At
some
least
level.
some aspect, she is in control.
Yes,
She
on
may
some
not
level.
be, yeah, may not be 100% in control, but she is definitely a part of what's going on.
Right, and that's where I was like, okay, this episode, yeah, this is it. This is stuff starting to more connections and
Just
stuff's
give you a
going on.
little tease at the end.
Yeah, tell me more now.
So Wanda says no and rewinds to where they are back inside their house and asking about if the pregnancy is really happening. And suddenly Vision is in color, and suddenly a wave of color completely wipes the black and white, and we are now in the color age of TV. So fun stuff.
Yeah, color age. Give me those colored TVs.
All right, and they sit down on the couch and begin to watch TV, which I feel like is going to be a running theme throughout this entire series. At the end of the episode, they're just going to sit down and start watching TV.
I can see that because that did happen in the first episode. That's just how they end the episodes. Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So cue the hexagonal end card with the same voice on the radio before asking, "Who's doing this to you, Wanda?"
Yeah, that seemed kind of random.
Which is
out of
like
place.
contrary to what you were saying. It's like clearly someone is on the outside trying to like communicate with Wanda, believing that someone is doing this to Wanda, but at the same time we can infer that Wanda is at least in somewhat control.
Yeah, just because of the whole rewind thing. Yeah, for me it was definitely like, this is Wanda. Like after she did the whole rewind thing, like clearly she has some masterful godlike control of what's going on, that she can just rewind literally everything and be back in her house. Like, yeah.
I mean, we already knew she was like one of if not the most powerful Avengers. I mean, she was able to like take Thanos by herself.
That's definitely true. Like her powers, since when she appeared in the MCU, like ramped up like to what you expected. Because when she first came out in the MCU, people were like, just mind control. Like she was able in the comic books. Not a huge comic book buff, but at least I know that Wanda was like reality bending, like
Right.
like levels of mutant, right? Like she could do pretty much anything. Like, and then just at the beginning of the Marvel universe, she was just able to like do mind stuff, like mind control and stuff.
Right.
But this is where you start to see, she can do more in the Marvel universe, and you're like, but what?
Right.
How much can she do? Like, and this whole series is like, feels like it's, now that we know that this is a lot connected to her, you're like, I think we're learning, what can she do? Like, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I think Wanda and Vision, like, both of these characters have been, like, arguably the two most underserved characters in the entire MCU.
Yeah.
Considering they've only been in Avengers movies and Captain America Civil War.
Right.
So it's not like they were able to get a whole lot of character development and
Yeah.
really defining what their powers were.
Yeah, which is probably
So
exactly why
actually,
they came out with this whole thing. Yeah.
yeah, I really like how like these two characters specifically are getting some much needed character development, and we're finally getting to see what they can actually do in terms of their powers.
Yeah, great use of Disney Plus, like giving like the opportunity to show like kind of these people who were side characters before more character development. And actually, arguably, they get even more character development than anybody with just a movie. Because like you get like freaking
agree.
Yeah, you get like freaking. Well, we know there's gonna be 7 episodes or 7 or 8 episodes. Like
it's nine episodes.
9 episodes, each one like 30 minutes. Like they're getting like way more screen time, you know, than somebody with like an hour and a half to 2 hour movie.
Right.
Which
definitely agree.
Yeah, they were in those movies too. So it's like, yeah. So TV shows definitely make it easier for character development.
That was episode 2. Overall, I think we both enjoyed this episode.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. Overall, I did enjoy it, and I can appreciate what's going on, but I still stick to my whole like I want the overall arching plot.
So I wanted to ask you, this series released week to week. The first 2 episodes came out and one drop, and then went on to a weekly release. So I'm actually curious about how you feel about that.
About it being released week to week?
Yeah, because I actually really like that. It felt like I had something to look forward to.
And yeah.
The show was like so strange.
Yeah.
That, like I didn't know what to expect. Like I could talk to people at work about it and stuff. I'm like, oh wait, like what do you think that's gonna happen?
Right, I didn't know what to expect for like the first 3 episodes. Like, like each one, I was just like, I don't know what's gonna happen next. But as far as like it releasing week to week, I agree with that. I think it's a smart move. I think it's definitely, you know, better for as far as like longevity and viewership goes. I think it's just overall like a good way to do it. Rather than giving people like the opportunity to just binge it and like you know, ruin it for other people, or you know just get Disney Plus subscription for like you know a couple of days, for like a month, and then just it's a smart move. But I mean, not only is it a good idea like for them, you know, financially, but I like it as far as a viewer goes. Like I prefer it that way because, like you said, you know, it gives you something to like kind of look forward to. Like it's kind of nice to not be allowed to, you know, binge the whole thing at once. I mean, if they gave me the opportunity to binge it, yes, I would binge it, right. and I would still enjoy it. But if they're like holding me back, leaving me wanting more, then you know, sure, yeah, I still enjoy it.
Like they're teasing me.
Yeah, thank you for giving me more to look forward to in the next week instead of allowing me to just gorge myself on all of it at once. Yes.
Right. All right. So I think that's the end of this episode. And Manny, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
So what do you think, I guess, as far as like the releasing week to week thing goes?
So I mean, we grew up like watching stuff like week to week and stuff.
Yeah.
And then Netflix came along and they were just like, here's everything. So
yes.
I think we just like sort of like grew accustomed to like the here's everything model. But I actually find that I appreciate the week to week a bit more just because I do have something to look forward to like on a Friday night or on a Thursday night after I get home from work. I can just immediately put on Disney Plus and watch the new episode.
Yeah, they're going for that nostalgia thing again.
I wouldn't even say it's nostalgia. I mean, yeah, it's definitely in terms of a business model, it's much better for them. But again, I think letting a show breathe with like giving it time to breathe is a much nicer model. It gives the show more longevity, and it just creates something like, oh yeah, you have to watch it this weekend or whenever it releases, or else you're going to be out of the loop at work when you're talking to people who have already watched it.
Right. So, yeah. You give the fans too a whole week to just fanboy about it, like, and release videos and, you know, talk about it and do things and speculate like what's gonna happen next. Whereas if it was all just at one time, like, you don't need to speculate because it's all right there. We just watch the whole thing.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
So, yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Like, again, after the Netflix model being like release everything, it's actually like almost like counterintuitive that the week to week model would work, but I actually find that I enjoy it more, even though like, I'm like you, I'm like, give me everything, I want it now.
Release it all so I can binge it right now.
Yeah, they're like Disney Plus is just like edging me.
Oh my god. It's all right. Yeah, sure. You can go ahead and use that word. That's fine. I won't edit that out or anything. You could, yes. And talking about edging is okay in this channel. All right, I'll keep all of that in. You can have it. That's fine. Ezra's gonna watch it and be like, he's like, Ezra would totally be for this. Like, all right. Anyway, are we ready for the closing part?
You do it.
All right. All right, everybody, thanks for watching this video. Again, I'm Manny.
And I am Brandon.
Wait, I looked the wrong way. All right, yeah. And we are the Bearded Boys. Have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great night if it's nighttime. I don't know. Yeah.
Watch WandaVision.
Yeah, watch WandaVision.
If you haven't already.
Yes. All right. Bye.